Hello everybody, my name is Zelinator, and these are my instructions for combining Indev worlds. Now do note that you cannot have an Indev world greater than 1024 blocks in either of the three axes. The world will fail to load within Indev. The tools required for this are MCEdit Testing 288, NBT Explorer, and Omen. Do note that for Indev, the earliest version that can save is 2010-01-24, as of recording this video. Indevs before this are unable to save and load worlds. Unfortunately, after manually modifying some worlds, they will be unable to open in certain Indev versions. The earliest Indev that is very likely to be able to open manually modified worlds is Indev 206. If you are working on a poly world, it is recommended to save the worlds separately and then hold off on combining them later. The first thing you'll want to do is calculate the total size that the world will be after combining. In our case, putting these two worlds together will create a world with a width of 256 blocks wide, 64 blocks tall, and 512 blocks long. The next thing you'll want to do is open up Omen and create a new world using the dimensions that we have just figured out. And you will want to create a blank map. Then press OK. Once the map is created, you then just need to save as and make sure that is a Minecraft MC level file. Now by default it will save within the Omen directory. Give it a name and then press save. Once the world successfully saved, you can close Omen. You will then want to open up MCEdit and locate the level that you just created. In some cases, MCEdit will not be able to load the level, and you will therefore have to define the specific world size. To set which size, you'll just need to rename the world to include the dimensions. The order is width, length, height. For this world, the size is 256 blocks wide, 512 blocks long, and 64 blocks tall. From there, the world should be able to correctly open. Once the level has opened, you will then want to import the worlds that you wish to combine. When importing, you will want to make sure that chunk-align is enabled to prevent any gaps from forming within the world. With the first world, click to confirm the location you want, then press import. For the next worlds, you want to perform the same actions and import, ensuring that it is successfully aligned. Once confirmed, press import again. Once all your worlds have been successfully imported, this is when you want to save. Once all your worlds have been imported, you can then quit MCEdit. The next thing to do is then locate your world and open it. However, the game broke because Indev is very fickle and doesn't like being manipulated. This is very common. Therefore, let's go through the steps on how to solve this, or potential solutions to solving errors such as this. One solution to help get the world loaded properly is in regards to the water at the edge of default worlds. In our case, we have a floating world, which has a massive hole. Therefore, all the water on the sides is trying to flow inward. That can cause massive lag, crashes, and other issues. In order to adjust the world settings to what we have in the floating world is to open up our level with NBT Explorer. If you have not used NBT Explorer before, you will need to right-click, open with, and then choose another app. Then from there you will need to locate your NBT Explorer executable. With the world open in NBT Explorer, you'll click on Environment, and then here are the settings to adjust the ground height and the water height that surround the world. In our case, we'll be setting them to what we have for the floating world. Locate the floating world and open it with NBT Explorer as well, and you will also open the environment tag. Comparing the two options, we'll change the surrounding ground height for the current world we are working with to negative 128, and we will have our surrounding water type to negative 127. With those two values changed, we can then save and close NBT Explorer. We will now attempt to open the world once more. Unfortunately, the game still broke. Therefore, we will go for another solution. However, though, this will help for when we eventually do get the world loaded to make sure that everything remains as intended. With Indev 2010-0206 selected, we will then be able to hit play. From the fancy new main menu that was added several versions earlier, we will then be able to load our world. Now, as you may already be able to tell from the outside of this world, there is emptiness out there. However, if we head off in this direction, we will be able to see the floating islands that were imported. One thing you may note already is that even though the world was first opened in Indev 124, this is not our same Indev house. Opening the world in Indev 206 regenerated all player info and therefore spawned a new Indev house. As you can tell by no chests being present in this one. You could see over there, that is our original house. Back at the first house, we're going to ignore the zombies. At the first house, as you can see, the chests are still here, and they do successfully contain the items. However, though, the story may be different for the other world where the floating islands are. Alrighty, y'all. It took some effort, but we made it over here to the Sky Islands. And now, time to check the chests that exist in here. The game broke again. Why? Because the associated entity of the chest was not lined up with how it was supposed to be. Therefore, there's no easy solution for Indev chests. If you have not watched the overview video of this series, I suggest you do that to gather more information. Here's the short of what can happen when you try to open a chest. Up until Indev 206, the game is likely to give you the game broke screen. From 207 through 214, it will give you a black crash screen, but any chests open afterward are just going to be empty. With all that, the last thing I really have to share is if trying to work with Indev Worlds hasn't given you a headache yet, then I give you props, because I had big struggles just trying to put this guide together for today. My last advice to share when working with Indev Worlds is that they can be very touchy. Therefore, I wish you luck. The chests are the primary issue, though. The world itself should be pretty straightforward to put back together. That is all I have to share about combining Indev worlds. Thank you all for watching. Bye. Once the world has been located, you can open it. Except the game broke. Ow. What'd I do wrong?